next presentation is by Dr. Finzi Pallissery and Dr. Chaitra Biranavar. Dr. Finzi is currently an associate professor and department coordinator at School of Law, Christ, deemed to be University, Bangalore, India. She has completed her PhD from National Law School, Bangalore, area of bank mergers and acquisitions. She is a passionate teacher of corporate and commercial laws and ensures innovation in the teaching learning process of commercial law subjects. Dr. Finzi has participated in various international conferences and published several articles in reputed journals in the areas of corporate and commercial laws. Her co-author, Dr. Chaitra Biranavar, is an assistant professor at School of Law, Christ University, Bangalore, India. She was awarded her PhD on the topic A Critical Study of Reverse Mergers as a Method of Going Public, a Comparative Study of US, China, and India by the Faculty of Law, Symbiosis International University, Pune in 2015. She is also the recipient of 16th Dr. D.C. Pawate Memorial Visiting Fellowship at the Center of International Studies, Department of Politics and International Studies at the University of Cambridge, UK, 2016. She has also participated in various international conferences and published several articles. Today, they will be presenting their work on Indian law firms and wellness at work, the need for a transformation. I welcome you, doctors, to please present if you're ready.
Hi everyone. As part of the conference on online directions in legal education, the topic we have chosen for the presentation is law firms and wellness at work. The reason why we have chosen this topic is to invite the attention of academic fraternity to be conscious about the phases of employment life a fresh graduate has to undergo in a law firm, and how far law schools and legal education rules equip the students of law to face these challenges even during COVID-19. India has got more than 100 law firms in legal 500 rankings of law firms in the world. These are the dreamland of every graduating batch of law students. Pre-placement and placement offers are much valued by law students with their readiness to enter the market. It is said that hardworking has no substitute, but it is also to be noted that human angle of work cannot be ignored. For this presentation, we have identified four issues. The first and the fourth issue I will be discussing, and the second and third issue my co-author Dr. Chaitra RB will be discussing in detail. Our first issue is how far law firms are conforming to the employees' mental health. Before we proceed to answer this particular issue, I would like to explain to you the extent of preparation the law schools and the law students take before they take up an employment with the law firm. We know that the law school prepares the students through internships. The internships experiences are so valuable to the law students to get an experiential learning of how the law is being applied and how the law firms are actually enabling the law students to apply the law to various facts and situation or the various cases which they actually have to tackle or have to address. And secondly, through most of the law schools, or rather the law schools prepare them to have a structured and a focused vision towards their career. The law school curriculum is structured in such a way that from the first year to final year, the courses which the students can undertake to choose the career of their own choices. Law schools do this through providing core law courses, practical papers, skill-based courses, and at School of Law, Christ University, we even offer a range of electives up to 80 courses, and the students are free to choose these courses so that they can hone their skills and develop the skills which are required for their career in future. We also, as I pointed out, learning special skills through special electives. Some of the electives, if I can say, such as, the electives dealing with international taxations, international investment law, law of mergers and acquisitions, international commercial arbitration, right? These courses are definitely being offered with the aim of enabling the students to take up courses, enabling the students to take up career in law firms. The law school also enable the students, or rather students are overwhelmingly enthusiastic to participate and develop their skills through moot court, co-curricular activities such as moot court, alternative dispute resolutions, negotiation, drafting and vetting of contracts, etc. Now, coming to the first issue, before I move on to discuss, answer this issue in detail, I would like to narrate the experiences shared by three ex law firm graduate law associates, and I don't intend to take their names. One is Mr. ABC. His name is changed. He was a graduate from one of the premier law school of India, exceptionally meritorious and brilliant student, received offers from the top law firms and joined in a tier 1 firm. He worked there for a year, didn't find any happiness at work, switched his job to another law firm. This one is again a foreign law firm. He thought the work culture may be different, but he was wrong. He shifted to another law firm. There also he found he was in full of tension and stress. He decided to quit from the legal profession completely and started a bakery of his own. Second is an incident shared by Ms. CAD. Again, the name is changed for privacy purposes. She graduated with highest CGPA of her batch, got into a good law firm. Initial days she was happy, then found that there's no limit on the working hours. Even if it is late night, she's expected to complete the work and go, no holidays, etc. So decided to surrender her passion from becoming a leading corporate lawyer and then she started a boutique of her own. Now there is Mr. Ram, again name changed for privacy purpose, joined law firms, again hailing from a good law school, but he quit his job in 6 months. The reason stated was he couldn't find any happiness or mental peace and started an NGO of his own. Above cited are not rare instances, but regular excuses we hear from fresh graduates. Financial capacity, intellectually smart partners, multiple branch offices, goodwill of the firm, rich clients are boon to any law firms, and they just don't care who enters and exits because the motive is not the best interest of the associates of the law firm or the employees, but their own clients' interest as well as the interest of the partners of the law firms. We must emphasize here the fact that mental health of an individual is a very important aspect of life. As the caveat, there's no health without mental health. Given the rapid change in socio-occupational structure and increasing demand at workplace, mental health at workplace is a concept which cannot be neglected. Any stressful situation can have a bearing on individuals' well-being. Stress at workplace can be an important contributor. With the changing models of law firms, there are varied challenges faced by fresh graduates which might affect their mental health in varied ways. Hence, there's a need for a structured evaluation of the mental health issues and the status of law firm associates or the associates who are working in law firms. Coming to the question, is there a need for regulating law firms in India? Before that, we must understand the culture and distinctiveness of every law firms. Law firms have their own culture because the employees are new and fresh to the law institution or organization. Law firm cannot change its culture. It has its vision, it has its objectives, it has its own specialist skill it expects from the law graduates once they enter into the firm. Therefore, the law schools must equip the students to adapt to this new culture and adjust to the new environment. And law firms must also, which is required for a law student to equip themselves to adjust to the culture. Law firms have higher expectation in terms of efficiency, resourcefulness, and productivity. Acquisition of special skills through experience is an opportunity given to the students through internships. Law firms also invest in training of young lawyers, and higher productivity is expected at the work, as I already pointed out. Any stressful situation, as I pointed out, can have a bearing on individuals' well-being. Therefore, there's a need to regulate the law firms, and there's a need to provide happiness at work in terms of the associates who are working at the law firm is concerned. Before I move on to discuss the need for regulation of law firms, I would like to brief you for the attention of the participants of this conference about the nature of law firms in India and their regulatory landscape. At present, there is no specific law which is applicable to regulate law firms. But please do understand, their legal profession is regulated in India through the Advocates Act and the Bar Council of India regulations. Most of the law firms have opted to be formed as partnership firms or limited liability partnership firms for their convenience of exercising the rights and duties of partners or to limit their liability. The Indian Partnership Act and the LLP Act are silent on the position and rights of the associates of any firms, though they confer rights on the partners of the firm. And the LLP Act has not prescribed minimum number of members, hence firms enjoy unlimited membership. Even if the number of members is beyond 100, Companies Act provisions won't apply as they are not engaged in business or commerce. However, they can be considered as lawful associations. As they are not industries, again, they do escape the liability, applicability of employment laws and rules applicable to other business industries. The nature of its association exempts itself from the purview of welfare legislation, which could have been otherwise applicable to employees and the associates of the law firm. Therefore, Advocates Act and Bar Council of India rules, the legislative framework for lawyers, also don't prescribe regulations of employees of law firms. Therefore, we are of the opinion that there is a need to prescribe certain regulations for law firms. Following our suggestions, we would like to begin from the role of regulators in conforming to the mental health and happiness of the employees or associates of the law firm. Primarily, they need to be brought under the Bar Council of India regulations. And the Bar Council of India regulations, we propose that the Bar Council of India regulations need to prescribe certain rules and regulations exclusively applicable to law firms with specified number, etc., and the number of branch offices, and the uniformity of the rules and policies applicable for these law firms conforming to the employees' mental welfare. Employment laws need to be made applicable to law firms. We understand the law firms are not industries. They are not engaged in gainful occupation, or they are not engaged in occupation which is generating profit in terms of investment is concerned. But in terms of the employees' interests are concerned or associates' interests are concerned, employment laws need to be made applicable. Law firm associates must also be given social security benefits such as provident fund, gratuity, etc. Training and workshops to be conducted to bridge the learning gap, and mental wellness awareness programs need to be conducted. And we also propose that appointment of counselors is required. In terms of the role of law schools, I think law schools and law teachers are already taking sufficient measures to see that the law students enjoy happiness and they are being given, they get a good career at the end of their course. However, while we conduct the internship assessment, I think that the internship assessment should also focus not only on the learning the students have had, but the psychological issues the students face. Law schools and law teachers therefore extend their duty to see that their students are placed in good law firms. Occasional visit to the places students are interning will help the law teachers to have a nice bird's eye view of the work culture. Feedback from the students and the law firm managers on the performance and the expectations from the interns need to be scrutinized very well, and such feedbacks need to be incorporated in the policy of internship, and the students should be mentored before they go to the internship and before they take up employment with law firms. It's important to educate the students about the culture of law firms, special holistic skills which are being required, such as teamwork, leadership skills, confidence, right, adjustability to the work culture, etc., should be brought as part of the curriculum of law schools. I'm happy to say that School of Law Christ University is offering holistic legal education. Therefore, we are equipping our students. But my advice is that all other law schools must take up this particular component of holistic legal education by not only teaching the regular courses and the specialized courses which have been prescribed by the Bar Council of India, but the courses which will prepare them for not just for a career, but for a life. And I must also say that the alumni cell of the law schools must extend their support to train the juniors. As the alumni have the sufficient experience, they are now in a position to train the law students sufficiently well. I would like to now move on to the role of law firms in terms of how the law firms would equip these students, these law graduates in their firms. We have identified 6 points, and I would like to acknowledge the fact that these are points which are being emphasized by various other persons also. However, I think there is a need for giving some attention to these ideas. These particular suggestions. One is to provide clear guidance. We must provide a clear guidance on what it will take to secure highest probability of making a partner. They should be given motivation and ownership in terms of working while they are working at law firms. If they are given strategic goals as to what they have to achieve, they will start owning, and then the work pressure will never be a botheration to them. However, in the aspiration to become partners, their mental health should not be disturbed. So there is a need for law firms to give a clear guidance to them. Secondly, collaborate on a roadmap. Encourage young lawyers to set annual or biannual goals along with the roadmap to achieve them. Review their plans and provide feedback and suggestion as to so that they can appropriately prepare their goals. Schedule reviews to assess progress and areas of improvement. I must say that the law firms should have an open door policy. Most of the law firms are actually conforming to, but there are some law firms which are actually not taking heed to the employees' welfare. So associates or counsels do not often feel that partners are accessible. So many of them fly solo when it comes to their career development, which can breed frustration, resentment, and unhappiness. The perfect catalyst for a departure from law firm. So I would say that we should make it clear that the law firms are committed to the success, and they should have an open door if and when need their assistance. And when they do come to you for help, take the time and be engaged. The fourth point is teach them business development. No matter how much a firm may emphasize good citizenship and hard work, the harsh reality is that the ability to build and maintain a book of business is a single most important quality for professional recognition, security, and leverage in law firm today. Therefore, I think this is an important aspect, not only giving to the responsibilities not only is with the law firms, but the law schools also to teach them business development. The fifth point is be honest. If the law associates or the young graduates ask certain clarifications, whether they are performing well, etc., it is better to acknowledge and correct them at the appropriate juncture instead of ignoring the fact that they will learn later. I think that may cause some kind of disturbance, or they may not actually learn their mistake. They may not actually realize their mistake and learn from their mistakes. So therefore, be honest in giving your opinion as to what went wrong in a particular point or particular work which was done by the associates. Our sixth point is provide encouragement along the way. At this juncture, I would like to say that the law graduates must be given, when we notice a job well done or the law firms notice a job well done, it is good to appreciate them, provide recognition and encouragement outside of a formal review. Be specific. People love to be recognized for doing well and supported in tough time. It doesn't take much effort and goes a very long way to maintaining a morale and staying motivated. I'm very happy to share my thoughts on to ensure wellness at work in the law firms. Now, I request my co-author, Dr. Chaitra RB, to cover the remaining points. Dr. Chaitra will be covering the remaining points.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yes. Mansi, I just wanted to bring to your notice that due to paucity of time, we were able to only cover up two issues uh, uh, out of our four issues, and the other two issues we couldn't even present on that. But however, our paper does discuss about that. And the second part of the paper is basically where I have dealt is the reasons why there has been a high degree of dissatisfaction and poor retention amongst the Indian law firms. So in that aspect, we've been able to identify nine key reasons why young talents are giving up their lucrative corporate jobs and looking for other alternative engagements in the field of law. Say, for example, we do have some faculty who have given up their lucrative corporate jobs and now today they are in academic engagement. So in the second half of the paper, we've been trying to identify these key nine reasons why people are giving up their jobs, and we've also proposed a model, an alternative employment model, where the Indian corporate law firms can restructure their work employment. For example, we proposed flexible working hours, especially to retain women associates. And this has been one of the biggest problem with Indian law firms, that they've not been able to retain young and talented women associates with them, because there is a problem that they do not give flexible work arrangements for the women lawyers. So especially those women who have family commitments, especially those mothers who are also lawyers, they tend to give up their corporate jobs, their dream jobs, and they come to alternative employment. And this is something which the Indian law firms need to adopt to. So these are the points which we've covered in the second half of our paper, but due to paucity of time, we are unable to discuss them at this forum. So we leave the forum open. If anybody has questions with regard to both aspects of the paper, they can reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chaitra. I request if we have any questions to be send them to me in the chat box in the private chat. We still have 3 minutes in hand, so I believe the doctors would love to answer to any queries if there are. Meanwhile, if I can ask a question, ma'am, as you presented your suggestions and the way the culture of the law firms, as you specifically talked about, I had this one question that from personal experience, actually, I have seen these basically managing partners and the kind of basically the founders of the law firms, who are these people who are actually running these tier one law firms in the country. Uh, for them, like personally, when I've heard them talking, recently I talked to this managing partner. He is one of pretty much one of my idols, and he's an IP professional. So he just said that it's very. This is one. This was one of his statement, that it's very necessary for you to be punctual in your professional life, but it's very okay if you don't do that in your personal life, because once you start showing punctuality into your personal life, you won't be able to succeed. This is basically what he said. So I'm not sure if there's anything right or wrong with the statement, but this particularly presents one of the thoughts as to uh, that what you do in your professional life is way more important than anything in your personal life. So, with that thing in mind, which is the current scenario of the law firms, and with your suggestions, how do you think, how much we can say, how much time would it take, or how can we really change this mentality, if I may say, uh, if that's possible? So, if you could just answer that.
Uh, Thank you, Mansvi, for that question. let's primarily understand the nature of law firms, right? Even though we say that they are not business entities or business association, they have a targeted objective, right? They have certain targets at the end of the year, I mean, at the end of the month, or what they expect from the client. So, in terms of the mental well-being or what they expect as an ideal, comfortable position for an employee, I don't think so that ever comes into their mind. That's because there are umpteen number of law graduates who are willing to get an employment. There are very smart law students who are graduating from the law firms. So I think, in especially in the Indian context, because of the large number of law graduates and the large number of smart students, probably it's not a concern whether they have to retain, or they have to have a good retention policy at all. Secondly, they are not accountable to anybody for that matter. You take up other professions like other industries or any other organizational setup in India, there's some amount of accountability. There are some amount of regulators who come and ask how many employees were there in the beginning, how many left, etc. But these kinds of answers are never asked to the law firms, and they are never accountable to any regulators. So probably a kind of privilege which the law firms are enjoying. They are not under anybody's regulations and purview, as they are a privately managed in a group of members. They decide their terms, what is beneficial to the partners, what is beneficial to the firm as a whole, excluding the welfare of the associates. So I don't surprise or shock to get a statement of this nature from a person who's working in a law firm. Thank you, Mansi.
Thank you, Dr. Fancy, for the answer. Um,